Here's the news at 9. First, the highlights. Lagos State government set to unveil eco-laws. President Tinubu promises to prioritize infrastructure development. On the foreign scene, Israel launches new military campaign in central Gaza. And in sport, Kenya's world record holder, Ronex Kiputo, gets 6 years doping ban. Now the details. I am John Omoaka. All is set for the unveiling of a new app, Eco Laws, to enable residents of Lagos State have easy access to the laws of the state. The new app is conceptualized by the 2024 cohorts of the Lateef Jakonde Leadership Academy in collaboration with the Lagos State Law Reforms Commission to promote law and justice in the state. Speaking at the pre-event press conference, the team lead of ACE, a group of 15 cohorts from the academy, Usman Adeniji, said many residents had no knowledge of the law and this impacted their rights and the need to demand good governance. Adeniji stated that the Eco Laws Simplifier app is accessible with simplified versions of the laws of the state on www.ecolaws.com.
As you can see, a number of us have spent almost of our lives in this state. So we're doing ourselves a disservice if we don't able to recognize some of the laws, that guides us. And going by the Mr. Governor's team's plus agenda, one of the key themes there, which is the plus, it talks about social inclusion. And one of the things for you to be socially inclusive is for you to recognize the laws that guides you within the residence in which you reside.
Earlier, the State Commissioner for Information Strategy, Bengal Motosho, represented by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of New Media, Jubril Gawat, noted that one of the key components of the fellowship program introduced in February 2023 to empower graduates is to come up with a project that will impact people of the state positively.
The aim of it all is to have a project that they will do that will be useful for the state and for Lagosians in general. So they call it Eco Laws, and this is like a simple app that can show you what you need to know about the laws of Lagos State.
The app will be translated into the Yoruba language for more access to the grassroots. Lagos State government has appealed to Muslim pilgrims to comply with the rules and regulations spread out by the Saudi authorities in respect of this year's Hajj rituals. Commissioner for Home Affairs, who is also the Amirul Hajj, Ibrahim Layode, stated this while addressing the pilgrims on his arrival in Makkah. Layode informed the pilgrims that the promises made by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to pay for their sacrificial rams, monetization of their ihram clothes, as well as ziyarah, visitation to historical sites in both Makkah and Medina, have been catered for. He said the governor also gave each of the pilgrims another 100 Saudi riyals as pocket money for their stay in Munna and Arafah, in addition to the $100 shortfall in the basic travel allowance for pilgrims on the third and fourth batches who are yet to collect theirs. Layode encouraged them to cooperate fully with the government officials, saying this would make all the plans put in place by the state government towards achieving a successful operation come to manifestation. Also, the Lagos State Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board has conducted the final phase of the admin and medical screening for Easter pilgrimage. Secretary of the board, Yetunde Gbafe, emphasized that the exercise is to ascertain the health status of the pilgrims before airlifting. Gbafe, who was represented by the head of operations of the board, Omishore Adebukunla, noted that the board has arranged medical personnel that will monitor intended pilgrims in case of emergency during the exercise. She warned that anyone who intends to abscond during the exercise will face the full wrath of the law, including the guarantor and family members.
The intending pilgrim expected to be fit for the exercise. We take them through the screening, like as they are here. There is a time that we'll have the one-day seminar for those that will see to their welfare in the Holy Land. Also, we'll have service of dedication to commit the journey into the hands of the Almighty God. So those are the things Lagos State have in place for the intending program before they are airlifted.
On his part, Chairman of the Board, Akinpelu Johnson, said after the screening, qualified pilgrims' names were compiled and forwarded to Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission, NCPC, before being airlifted in July this year. Also, NCPC Head of Mobilization, Abuja, Benedict Okon, expressed that the commission is to regulate, coordinate and supervise Christian Pilgrim Welfare Board of each state and to ensure that the intending pilgrims are true Christians that are not ready to abscond. Lagos State Government, through the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Services, LSBTS, has announced that it has saved over 1.5 million lives and recruited more than 2 million voluntary blood donors since the agency's inception. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said this in his keynote address during a symposium commemorating the 20th anniversary of LSBTS. Sanwo-Olu noted that despite the increasing number of blood donors annually, the state still relies on various forms of cohesive blood donation, saying this underscores the need for collective and concerted efforts to encourage voluntary blood donation. The governor, who was represented by the Commissioner for Health, Akin Abayomi, said the symposium themed "Pioneering the Path and Shaping the Future of Blood Services in Nigeria" is well timed. He added that Lagos State is committed to ensuring that the state blood transfusion services has adequate infrastructure and is moving towards modern technology to ensure that every pint of blood transfused is safe and free from infections. In her address, Executive Secretary of LSBTS, Boduri Oshikumaya, highlighted the significant achievements of the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Committee, saying the achievements were driven by passion, strong political will, and technological innovations. She stated that the agency anticipates the next decade to achieve 100% voluntary blood donation and establish a standalone blood transfusion service center. The House of Representatives has again called on the President Bola Tinubu-led government to announce a living wage for Nigerian workers to address incessant cases of industrial actions by organized labor. The House resolution followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by the member representing Balanga Biliri Federal Constituency, Gombe State, Issa Ali. Ali noted that the federal government and labor unions have been locked in negotiations over an upward review of the minimum wage, regretting that the meetings so far failed to yield positive outcomes. He also called for a review of the National Minimum Wage Act of 2019, noting that the prevailing circumstances which led to the enactment of the act a few years ago have changed. Following the adoption of the motion, the House urged the federal government to redirect the focus of the negotiations with labor unions from fixing a new minimum wage to fixing a realistic living wage for Nigerians, just as it demanded a downward review of electricity tariff to reduce the suffering of Nigerians. Now to the rest of the stories. President Bola Tinubu says his administration will continue to prioritize the infrastructure development in the coming months and years as a cornerstone of the renewed hope agenda. Tinubu stated this at the inauguration of the extension of the Inner Southern Expressway from the Outer Southern Expressway to the Southern Parkway, being the sixth project inaugurated in the FCT to mark the first anniversary of his administration in office. He also reiterated his commitment to deliver on promises made, empower the people, and build a nation that all citizens can be proud of. Tinubu described the commissioned road project as more than just a road, symbolizing his administration's determination to bridge the gap between rural and urban areas in the country. Operatives of the Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone B have intercepted a consignment of pangolin scale and its derivatives within Kebbi State axis of the zone, with value at the international market of over 3.9 billion naira. Controller Federal Operations Unit Zone B, Kaduna, Amadu Shuaibu, said a suspect was arrested in connection with a seizure, while the main suspect is currently at large. Shuaibu called on the general public to continue to cooperate and stand with the Nigeria Customs Service on its fight against smuggling. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Yemi Cardoso, says strengthening national capacities for debt management is crucial for meeting the government's funding needs. Cardoso said this at the opening of a regional training on annual borrowing plan development organized by the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management. He said the country must prioritize building a balanced and resilient debt profile. Now to foreign news. The Israeli military says it has begun a ground operation against Hamas in the Buranj refugee camp and east of the town of Zer al-Balah in the central Gaza Strip. According to Israel Defense Forces, troops backed by airstrikes are targeting terrorists and their infrastructure above and below the ground. The charity Medicines Sans Frontiers says at least 70 people dead and 300 wounded, majority of them women and children, had been brought to a hospital in Deir al-Balah since Tuesday. It comes as United States, Egyptian and Qatari mediators meet in Doha and Cairo to discuss how to finalize a new ceasefire and hostage release deal. The United States says it is still waiting for a response from Hamas to what it described as an Israeli proposal outlined by United States President Joe Biden on Friday. Now sports. Kenya's 10 kilometers road race record holder, Ronex Kipruto, has been banned for 6 years for doping and his wild mark cancelled. According to the Athletics Integrity Unit, Kipruto was banned until May 10, 2029 after the AIU's disciplinary tribunal ruled irregularities in athletes' biological passport, ABP, resulted from doping. Rejecting Ronex Kipruto's defense, the tribunal concluded the cause of the abnormalities in the ABP is more likely to be due to blood manipulation, and there was no other plausible explanation. It will be recalled that Ronex Kipruto took the 10,000 meters bronze medal at the 2019 World Championships in Doha. He set the 10-kilometer record of 26 minutes 24 seconds in Valencia in 2020, but finished as disappointing ninth in the 10,000 meter at the Olympics in 2021. And that's our news, but just before we go, always slow down at road junctions, intersections, and pedestrian crossings. You can follow us on like all our various social media platforms: X, Traffic Radio 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website at trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration upgraded 2 higher institutions to universities? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. All is set for the unveiling of a new app, Eco Laws, to enable residents of Lagos State have easy access to the laws of the state. President Bola Tinubu said his administration will continue to prioritize infrastructure development in the coming months and years as a cornerstone of the renewed hope agenda. We also told you that the Israeli military have begun a ground operation against Hamas in the Buranj refugee camp and east of the town of Deir al-Balah in the central Gaza Strip. And in sport, Kenya's 10 kilometers road race record holder Rones Kipruto has been banned for 6 years for doping and his world mark cancelled. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Zainab Adebeshi. I am John Omoaka. Thank you very much for listening.